So a couple things to consider before you begin. We say start with a clean slate. And by this we mean do not use any of the embedded templates that exist on Word. They will just cause you lots of heartache as you go forward. Just start fresh and build it out, or use the fill-in template that we provide in the resource library. You won't be spending a lot of time messing around with the formatting. If you use the built-in templates on Word, sometimes if you change something within that template, it makes it very hard for you to go back in and update the formatting going forward. So please, please just consider starting fresh. In terms of the way it looks, we always have students asking us, well, I want my resume to sort of stand out. I want it to look, I want it to catch the attention of the employers. Well, you want to err on the side of being conservative with the formatting. And when you look at the examples that we give you here, there are very little variations. There are little things that you can do to tweak it, but the examples that we provided to you are conservative, but they're formatted in a way that allow employers to easily get at the information that they really need. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you see 3 different counselors in our office, you'll get 3 different perspectives on how your resume might look. Each of us is going to have our own sort of preferential style. Employers that you talk to throughout the years, they may look at your resume that you've put together following our format, and they may say, this is no good. You need to do this, this, and this. So take all of this advice with a grain of salt. Your goal is to have a document that gets the information out there in a clear manner, and ultimately you need to own this document and be comfortable with the way you're presenting the information. So our goal when you meet with us in these initial consultations will be to make sure that we can easily get at the information, because if we can get at it, then employers can get at it too. But don't feel like you have to be married to any of the formats that we present here, as long as the formatting works, okay? So you'll also note that in the examples that we have here, we tend to use fairly boring fonts, and there's a couple of reasons for that. A lot of employers use systems to convert your documents over from a Word document into a PDF, or even if you've got a PDF, those can be easily uploaded. If you are submitting a Word document directly to an employer, the conversion software that they use sometimes does funny things with fonts that don't exist in their database. We had a student who is one of our top students once who submitted a resume. It got converted over, and the nice fancy font that he used at the top of his resume converted from something that looked like a Times New Roman font, but a little bit fancier. It ended up looking like that he had written his name in crayon. So it was an interesting topic of conversation for him to have with those employers, and he had to always ultimately submit a new version of his resume to those employers. But you want to avoid those things. That's why also creating PDF versions of your resume yourself for upload, it's a good idea because you always know what that thing looks like before it gets submitted.